And there's another way of showing the same kind of data. So we're talking about proportions or just numbers, as we say, or counts. Of observations in different classes. So there's a difference, and shown side by side, and that is the bar chart, and that's what I'm going to talk about here. So first of all, I'm going to show you another set of data. So that's blood groups in England. So 45% of people in England have the blood group A, 43% have the blood group O, 9% B, 3% AB, and those all add up to 100%. So I've made, in Excel, but I could have drawn it, it's just a bit neater in Excel, a pie chart of this. So in this case, I've got, notice there's a legend, so that could be a useful way to designate the different classes by colours and then put the legend on the side if your graph is going to be, if your pie chart is going to be quite busy. So yeah, we've got 4 different classes, and you can see that there's roughly an equal amount. Just by looking at this pie chart, you can see about the same number of people are A as O, but we can't really see precise differences between the different groups here. So what we need in this case is a bar chart. Here we go. And here's a bar chart of the same data. So here we've got the percentages on the side. Could write that, percent of population. And here we've got the blood groups for the X. And yeah, so here I've drawn a column. The bar chart could also be called a column chart. So here we've got 45%, so it goes up to 45%. O goes up to 43, B, and A. So we can see quite nicely, for example, the differences between the height of the columns for A, B, and B, A and O, and it allows us to compare fairly subtle differences in, between those. And it's important that I've left, we'll see why, there's a gap in between the columns. And in this case, we don't have to show every single category. That's a difference between a bar chart and a column, and a pie chart. So yeah, that's a different way of presenting the data. So you might, you can decide yourself what would be more appropriate for what you're trying to do with your figure. So I was just talking about pie charts and bar charts, but here let's talk about bar charts and line graphs, and they can both be used in some situations. So here we've got a rather depressing set of data. So this is for each month of the year. This is the average rainfall in millimetres in Sheffield. And so here on the x-axis we've got months, and on the y-axis we have again, so average rainfall in millimetres in both cases. So here's a point. So here, before on the bar graph, it was the percentages of people with different blood groups, but here it's a number of millimetres, and that's absolutely fine. But here we've got the different classes. So this is we could think of that as the different months as counts into different classes. Yeah, and we can use either a bar chart or a line graph to show these data. So this is, so time, that's important, on the x-axis. And in both cases, I think they're quite useful to see the local differences between the different months. So see this reduction. So September is a bit drier than August, and then October gets more rain again. So there's a specific example where bar charts and line graphs can both be used.